Hello, Internet. 'Tis I, your favorite drag queen turned GM. Look, I'm not in drag. Shush. Be quiet, Internet. Be quiet. I'm here for another video to talk about TTRPGs you might like. This video, we have somebody who's been on the channel before on my podcast called After the Table. You might have heard of it. If you haven't, go listen to it. And go listen to the episode that this person's in. I'm just saying. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, setting creator of City of the Black Rose from Roll and Play Press, Jeremy Cobb. Hi.
Hi. Welcome back to myself. I have no idea.
Yes, welcome back to yourself.
Thank you so much for welcoming me back onto the show. It is a pleasure to be back. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. No, thank you for. I'm sure you're busy, especially right now as we're recording this. It's a week until a lot of people are getting ready to go to Gen Con. So.
Yep, and I am among them. I'm in a live show actually with the Storyteller Squad, so it should be really fun.
Yes, we love the Storyteller Squad over in this house. We talked a little bit about the City of the Black Rose in the episode that we did together. But for those who didn't get to listen or don't know what City of the Black Rose is, let the people know.
Okay, so the City of the Black Rose is a TTRPG setting that I originally created for a home D&D game back in late 2020 after my previous campaign had abruptly collapsed and everyone was sad. It is a gothic horror, noir, dark urban fantasy setting that also incorporates elements of steampunk and diesel punk and early sci-fi. So I guess the quickest way to describe it is gothic horror, noir, steampunk, sci-fi, dark fantasy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was about to say some of the touchstones that you put in the book, because you included the touchstones, are Arcane, Batman Arkham series, The Great Gatsby, Sin City, and so many more. And I mean, these are just great touchstones to look at. While you were writing this, was there anything that you were listening to in particular to get into that kind of noir fantasy vibe?
Yes. So a lot of the touchstones, weirdly, were less inspirations and more just easy points of comparison. Because I've only ever played, I don't think I've ever actually played any of the Arkham games. I've just watched my friends play them. And Arcane actually came, even though I think there are some strong comparisons to be made with Arcane actually came out, I think, after I started running this game. But in terms of stuff that I was personally engaging with, a lot of my influences were noir films, as well as gothic literature and early sci-fi literature like H.G. Wells and Jules Verne and that sort of thing, as well as some like steampunk works like Alan Moore's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, as well as, I really enjoyed jazz music. And so I had like a full playlist of tracks that I've assembled over the years of running games in the setting that I would sometimes listen to, as well as the incredible theme for our Three Black Halflings City of the Black Rose actual play show made by Jonathan Charles. I would often listen to that when getting into the mood, as well as Southern Gothic films and TV. One of my favorite films is the movie Night of the Hunter, which was definitely an influence on various parts of the setting. Classic German expressionism like Metropolis is a massive influence on parts of the setting, as well as pieces of art. I had really extensive Pinterest boards with over 100. I think it was each one had over 100 pins, and they were for every single level of the city, as well as the regions of the city, or the regions of the country outside of the city, that we were sending to all the artists and different things like that. So it was a lot of stuff like that I would use for inspiration.
Oh, I love that. I love a good Pinterest board or like a mood board in general to like get into the idea. I mean, you mentioned it. This was originally a homebrew world that you later brought to the Three Black Halflings podcast. What has changed? What has evolved since the inception to, now publication?
Yeah. So normally when I world build, I only build as much as I need for the story that I'm specifically about to tell. And so, even though for each of the games that I've run, and I think for people listening to it as well, the world felt very full, there were a number of things that you would just fundamentally need for a book like this that I just had never made because it was never relevant, such as an overall government system. Largely wasn't relevant in any of the games. So in terms of what the Mavrosian government, which Mavros is the name of the actual city, there was no such government. There was a deputy mayor. Then there was, in a home game, another person who was the full mayor of a whole level of the city. And then beyond that, like hardly any governmental structure whatsoever. We changed how we were approaching religion for this because it was created as a D&D game as originally. We have heavily adapted it to be mainly aligned with Daggerheart, but also generally like system agnostic. So there's a lot of tools specifically to make it playable with Daggerheart, but you could use it for just in general any fantasy RPG system. You might have to alter a few things about the lore, but it'll generally work. So Pantheon, like in terms of religion, I had to look at, okay, how are we going to do religion? Because originally we just used like Forgotten Realms deities, but I didn't want to use that anymore for this. So I then had a complete revamp of how religion works in the setting. I looked at some of the extra planar stuff that would show up in both the show as well as in home games and rejiggered that. And actually, some of those changes began with season 2 of City of the Black Rose because we launched the show, season 2, specifically knowing that we were doing the book. So I wanted to already start moving away from like Forgotten Realms associated terms and characterizations of, like, for example, the Shadowfell. That underwent sort of a makeover and is a version, a setting that is similar to it in this book is the Gloaming, which is like sort of the equivalent purgatory zone that where dead things go in the book, as well as the Feywild. I didn't want the Feywild, but the Fey are a major part of Mavros's culture and history, so it made sense to have something that was like, where did the Fey come from originally? And so we created, I created the Rhapsodian Isles, also known as the Rhapsodies, which is also a whole section of the book about that. And a major thing that happened specifically for the book was ironing out exactly how many districts there are and what each of them is like. Because in home games, I never really felt a need to create a consistent map of Mavros. There was a general, there's the lower city, central city, upper city, all built directly on top of each other, but I didn't need to know, oh, the Hernandez district is specifically here, and the Hammetsburg district is specifically here, and Port Gloria is specifically here. Half the districts didn't even have names. So one of the very first things that I did with the creative team at Roll and Play Press was to come up with a list of 18, really 19 districts in the city and decide where each of them was and what the flavor of each individual district was, because they needed to each have a different personality in order to justify having chapters about each of them. So that really makes up the bulk of the book, is going through every single district inside of the city and then all the districts from the surrounding regions within the nation.
I mean, you mentioned them before, Roll and Play Press. We love them here. I mean, this is published by them. They're over in the UK. What has been some of like the challenges of doing something with a team that's kind of widespread?
Yeah, mainly time zones. Honestly, it was time zones were the big one. They would be like, "Can we get this by this day?" And I'd be like, "Do they mean like when they'd be like, can we have it by end of day on this day?" I'd be like, "Do they mean end of day their time or end of day my time?" And so a lot of times I would be like getting up early to try and finish stuff before deadlines for their, especially towards the end of the book. I was like, "Oh, I think they definitely mean their time, so I need to get it by noon my time to them." So I'd be getting up early, and yeah, that was probably the biggest challenge. I have to give, if I had a hat, I would take it off to them because they have been such phenomenal collaborators from the very beginning. Even they have taken on so many of my suggestions and thoughts and ideas, and they really have been so kind and friendly and respectful in trying to incorporate my vision wherever possible. And ultimately, they're the ones who know how to make a book. So like if it was something that's like, this fundamentally won't work, then I have to defer to them ultimately. But they were so kind in involving me in helping iterate on the art. So pretty much every piece of art in the book, almost every single piece, was either conceived in conjunction with me or they would send me the initial brief, allow me to give comments, allow me to give reference images, and then they would send it to the artist, and then the artist would send back a draft, and then and then their creative team, Sam and Beth, we would get together and then all give feedback on each piece of art, and just keep iterating. And in some cases, it was very, very rare, but even in a case where I felt this piece of art just fundamentally is not capturing what it's meant to capture, which again was very, very rare. I can count on one hand the number of times that happened. They were so kind in being like, okay, you know what? We get it. And they would scrap it and move on and come up with a new version of it. So they were absolutely wonderful to work with. The positives far outweigh any challenges imposed by the distance.
I mean, there are some campaigns, not this one, that it's only after the campaign ends that they like go to look for a publisher. How does it feel to have the publisher at the jump with the campaign and like everything like that?
Well, I don't think we could have done it without them. I certainly did not want to do a book without somebody who knew how to do a book. I've contributed like little bits of writing to books before, but I knew nothing about how to actually make a book. And Roll and Play Press has already, in just the years that they've existed, such a pedigree, such a track record for just churning out banger after banger. And for them to then expand into now original settings, I'm really honored that people of such caliber, like a creator, a book publisher of such caliber, was interested in publishing my setting as their very first foray into original settings. And it was... They were the ones ultimately who really orchestrated a lot of the stuff surrounding like the Kickstarter, because again, well-oiled machine, they kill it with Kickstarters every single time. And so any like uncertainty about, I don't know if this is going to work, was like, we could just hand it over and be like, I trust you. And we would just try and make whatever it was they needed. Oh, we need to make videos to help advertise the Kickstarter? Sure. We need to contact people who are friends of the show to help push the Kickstarter? Sure. All that stuff was like, yeah, okay, whatever you need. So they really spearheaded a lot of that work. And I also have to give credit to Jasper of Three Black Halflings, as well as the rest of the team from 12-Sided Studios, Three Black Halflings parent company, for negotiating and initiating the deal and working it out with Roll and Play Press in the first place. Because they've just, again, Roll and Play Press have been incredible to work with at every step of the way. And every single member of their staff is so nice. I was actually lucky enough to visit them a few weeks ago in London at their offices, and they actually gave me a physical copy of the book, which, yeah, we have it now. It's real. It's real. Look at the beauty. There's a poster.
There's a poster.
For those of you who have listened to our Daggerheart 2-shot, this poster is actually of the very location where that adventure takes place, the Carnelian Casino. But you can see there's all sorts of entries. They look like they've been cut out of like newspaper. So many amazing pieces of art. We have maps of the city. Shout out to Jog Brosen, who did the maps. I genuinely did not think it was possible to really capture the city in a map. And then Jog did it, and I was like, my God. This is so cool. It's so fun to be able to point at specific districts and say, hey, remember that part from the show? Or remember that part from our home game adventures? It happened here. And everybody's like, whoa. It just grounds it so much. So I feel like I just completely went off-road from what you actually asked.
You're good. You're good. Sorry. I mean, what version is that? Is that the D&D or the Daggerheart version?
This is the Daggerheart version. I think the Daggerheart version is the one that's getting the physical publishing, and the D&D version is being sent. I think there's going to be a D&D supplement that has, because most of the book does not have specific stats associated with it. It's really when you get towards the end of the book where, here, I'll show. You're not going to be able to read it, but you can see that it's there. So at the end of the book, there's a section that features adversaries. Let's see if it actually, will it appear?
It won't appear, but
you can glimpse that there's something there.
Yes.
There's a section with different adversaries and locations and items, and all sorts of different weapons and that sort of loot, vehicles. There's all these different things that are specifically calibrated to be Daggerheart compatible. And I think the D&D supplement will essentially take all of those things and then port them over to D&D. So it'll be the same overall content, but it'll be adapted for Dungeons and Dragons specifically.
I mean, y'all were running this campaign as Darrington was releasing their own original content initially for Daggerheart. I mean, what were some of the issues, or like not even issues, but what were some of the hurdles that y'all had to overcome to deal with that to make sure it was all compatible?
Oh, Darrington was really kind in giving us an advanced release copy of the final Daggerheart book before it was officially released, so we could use it for our actual play miniseries, which they actually had commissioned in the first place and were kind enough to host on their YouTube channel, which if you haven't seen it, I believe it's called Dice Danger Daggerheart. Go check it out. It's an amazing cast, a really fun 2-shot adventure. But they were really friendly and kind in giving us that information. Unfortunately, I forgot to read every single piece of the book, and so you'll notice in the 2-shot, you do armor incorrectly because I'm using the old version of armor and had not seen the version. I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure it's the same. I was looking through and I was like, it doesn't seem like they changed anything else mechanically. All right. And lo and behold,
so much stuff changed. So much stuff changed within weeks.
Yeah. So I was like, oops. I think that's the big one is just the armor. But as I mentioned, they hosted it on their YouTube channel. Matt Mercer held up a copy of the book that had nothing inside of it but had a really cool cover, and shouted it out on the first episode of Age of Umbra, which was unbelievable. That was so cool, and I actually got to thank him in person for that earlier this year at PAX East. But that, again, it was mostly, I would say, a positive experience. Other than me failing to read a section of the mechanics, it was great.
Hey, that happens. It's one of those things. You know, you're doing it your own flavor ways.
Yeah, exactly.
What were I mean, backers were able to choose between Daggerheart or D&D. Do y'all know the stats of like who chose what? Do y'all have like
that
the final?
I do not know. No, I have not. They have not shared that information with me. I don't know. My impression is that if you choose the D&D one, if you got a physical copy, your physical copy will be Daggerheart, and then you'll be sent the D&D stuff electronically. But do not quote me on that. I might be wrong. That was just my impression. Is that the physical book is Daggerheart compatible, but you will also receive electronic versions of just the D&D stuff, in part because most of the book is doesn't even have mechanics, so I don't think that they printed completely different sets of the book, you know what I mean, just for a few pages at the end.
Hey, I wasn't sure, but it'd be really nice to actually see this on D&D Beyond, as a way
that would be so cool.
Hey, D&D Beyond.
I mean, D&D Beyond, they just did. Roleplay Press does have. I can't remember. Is it One Shot Wonders?
I think it's the first One Shot Wonders because the second one hasn't come out yet. But yeah. So it's on there.
Hit me up. Hit us up. There's a smorgasbord of stuff. I've run all of my Mavros campaigns on D&D Beyond. I'm running one right now. Literally, actually, as we record this yesterday, I went on and homebrewed a bunch of stuff for my Mavros home game on D&D Beyond. So
love that.
Come on, it's a match made in heaven. Or hell, as it may be with Mavros.
But okay, so for the campaign itself, all the stretch goals were made, were met, which is amazing. To include some vignettes with some very popular TTRPG creators. Those aren't out yet, right?
They're about to be released very, very soon. I've already recorded 2 of them. The first one is fully edited as well. Features Johnny Chiodini playing a working class stiff who has dreams of being a successful arcanist and attending an academy, but is just working a very dangerous job to provide for their family. And it's on their final night of this job, doing an extremely dangerous task. It is, I'll be honest, I've run a lot of stuff that was pretty rough, intense and horrifying. This is I was listening to it and was like, dang, this is emotional. It's really it's a lot of just emotional screws being twisted in this one. and I think folks are really going to like it. It's powerful, it's intense, and I've also recorded one with the incredible Ginny D as well, which is a completely different story. Takes place in a jazz club where she's a lounge singer, and it's much more like supernatural and also comedic. And it's a completely different story. And that's what I think is the beauty of the vignettes, is not only do you get a really powerful but relatively short impactful story, but each one feels so different and yet very much of the same world.
I love that. I can't wait to listen to them. It sounds like a good time, and especially with the group that y'all were able to get for the vignettes, I'm very excited about it. Well, some of the other stretch goals were a soundtrack, and I was actually listening to them, like prepping the questions and everything like this. Every track has this like ominous vibe that just like kind of puts like a sense of dread in there, but there's also like just key differences to make it feel a little bit better. What were the conversations that y'all had with the composers to make sure the soundtrack sounded something that would imbue Mavros's streets?
Oh, well, so first I have to shout out Cy Rutherford, who composed all three of the tracks. There is a general Mavros music track that's like, I think each one's like 25 minutes long plus, that you can just play as a background music for your game. There is a combat track, and then there's also an ambient track, sort of an ambient cityscape sound. And all three of them are super cool. Essentially, I sent Cy, I think, the original theme song by Jonathan Charles, as well as the music playlist, as well as just a general description of what I wanted each track to feel like emotionally, what I wanted to get from each track. And then Cy came back with these really cool first drafts, and I would be like, okay, can we get more of this? Can we get a little more of this? Can we get a little less of this? Can we adjust it this way? I have a lot of this emotion, but I'm not getting any of this emotion. Can we get this emotion in there? And then Cy went away and came back and was like, whoa, this is fantastic. One thing I love about this is I feel like with most TTRPG soundtracks, there isn't really much jazz influence whatsoever. They tend to follow the like vaguely implied European medieval vibe, combined with like movie soundtrack. And while there is nothing wrong with that, it just wasn't appropriate for this specific setting. And so I think Cy ended up doing a really good job of taking on board a lot of the jazz influences. One of my favorite bits is in the combat track, the drums, like these are very like aggressive, fast jazz drums that really feel sort of frantic, but also very groovy. I think that feels distinct from any TTRPG combat music that I've ever heard. And in one track in particular that Cy, I know, took influence from was the John Coltrane and Duke Ellington duet version of In a Sentimental Mood, which he used, I believe, as I think the chordal basis for parts of the general Mavros music. So when it gets a bit softer and a bit sweeter, those I think are very heavily influenced by that specific track, which if you haven't heard it and you enjoy anything to do with jazz, do yourself a favor and go listen to that track. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
I just love the fact that the combat music is literally called combat jazz, and I'm just like, yes, yes.
I think the Role Play Press folks called it that. I think they named all the tracks, and I wholeheartedly agree with that title.
Combat jazz, love it. But yeah, I mean, as we're recording this, as it's released, they are locking down addresses. It's real. I mean, yeah. I was able to get the digital versions a couple weeks ago, but it's real. People are gonna have it in their hands soon. How does it feel that people are gonna touch it?
Oh, I really just hope people like it. I loved working on it. I had never worked on a project where I had to be creative on demand, like in that specific way, where it would be, oh yeah, so we need a museum. Can you make up a museum? I'd be like, all right. And I'd go and be like, okay, what would be cool for a museum in the setting? And think through and then be like, how about this? And then be like, great, and put it in the book. I'd never worked to those specifications before. It was always just it was kind of like inspiration. It was never somebody telling me specifically what we needed. And so that was a really, really cool experience. And I enjoyed it. And I felt like I was like, man, this stuff is really, really cool. And so, but just me thinking it's cool is one thing, right? I really hoped that people, when they got it, would be like, oh, not only is this cool, but it's also practical and it's useful. And I can use it in my games and it provides inspiration. And I have to give credit once again to Roll and Play Press, because the plot hooks, I think, is stuff that they've carried over from previous books. Absolutely ingenious idea. I hadn't even considered that, but every single entry in the book has a plot hook. I helped collaborate on, I think, the majority of the plot hooks, if not all of them. Actually, I helped edit the whole book, so to some extent I collaborated on all of them. But it was absolutely a dream. And I've, so far, everyone who has actually read the book has been very positive about it. Even some of my friends who tend to be tough critics of stuff have been like, this is really, really cool. I like this a lot. Can I ask, if it's not too much of an imposition, what did you think of the book from what you have looked through so far?
I love it. I love the fact I'm a big fan of that noir feel that, like, this is despite my background of not liking a lot of American literature, like, of the like early 20th century. I love it because it gives that feel of just weirdly that Americana feel of the literature of that time. And I loved, I mean, I wanted to, I did the grad school thing where I like glanced through it. I was just like, all right, yes, awesome, cool. I'm really excited to like get the physical copy so I can like fully immerse myself. I think digital copies are really great. Look, as a former grad school person, they're really great to do the cursory, like picking up the very good notes of it. I can't wait to go in and do horrible things to my book where I tab and highlight and leave notes in my margin and be like, okay, like this is something, like, go full in. I'm very excited to, I'm also, this is also a greedy interview because I backed at the, I told you before we recorded, at the investigator level. So I'm excited to get all the ephemera, and like, it's great to see it digitally, but like, I can't wait to see like the Hope and Fear tokens.
I have those.
And the posters, and
they gave me the physical copy. Here's the box. You can see actually so cool. The images of the different tokens on there. Yeah, these are so cool.
I'm a big fan of ephemera, especially if it ties in so well. And like you said, like the posters and like the parts look like newspapers. The pre-generated characters look like police report files. Like what is it? The cards.
The mission deck.
The mission deck. It looks like a Rolodex, what would be in a Rolodex. And so like, it's all typed up. It feels very like grounded in that world. So I'm very excited to.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad. That's been the most surreal part, I think, of all of this. Now that it's over, now that I've finished, like my contributions have largely concluded, seeing on the Roll and Play Press Discord, some folks already talking about their campaigns, and they're talking about locations that were like from my home game and that I and my friends have been playing in for years. And they're like, yeah, so we're going to have it involve these characters. I was like, oh. And I have to I run back to my friends for my home game every time. I'm like, guys, look at this. Look, they're going to do it. And they're like, oh, everybody always gets, it's been so special. One of my favorite parts of this whole process has been getting to honor the creative contributions that my friends in my home games have made, as well as the halflings and our guests on the show. All of the main PCs, appear in the book in some capacity.
It's amazing.
Every single one of them. I think all of them have entries as well, and I think the majority of them have art. I think all of them appear in at least one piece of art, actually, as well as a lot of like side characters and guest characters and some of the vignette characters, as well as some of the villains from the show. So yeah, that's been really cool. And then just a ton of characters and things from my home games, as well as a smorgasbord of other NPCs and locations and factions. It's been so special. I even saw on Start Playing Games somebody advertising. I like Googled City of the Black Rose, I think because I was looking for where to pre-order the book, like the physical copy of the book, and the first thing that came up was a link on.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The first thing that came up was a link on Start Playing Games where somebody was advertising a game in Mavros. I was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I was like, this is stuff in the book. This is I was so excited.
You just like randomly jump into the game. Hey guys.
I seriously could, honestly, if it was a one shot, I would probably have gone for it and not said anything. I would have just been like, but if they wanted to do it as an ongoing.
Fake name exactly. Start playing.
Yeah, I'm just here. I name myself after a character in the book and see if anybody notices. Yeah, that would have. I really considered it. My friends and I were like, from the campaign, were like, what if we all signed up? And it was all just us playing this campaign. But yeah, it was just so cool to see.
I believe you can pre-order on the Kickstarter, right? There's the
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so.
And on the Roll and Play Press website.
That's true. So, now that Mavros is now free into people's arms and into people's start playing schedules, what's next? What's next for you?
Oh, well, I am trying to pitch. I've already, I think I've gotten a little bit of interest. I have no idea if it will ever happen, but I'm trying to pitch them on another Three Black Halflings, or rather another setting that I've made and used on Three Black Halflings before. If you're a longtime fan of Three Black Halflings, you might have an idea of which setting that might be, but it's from one of our most popular actual play series. And I won't spoil it yet, but I'm really hoping that in future we can collaborate on doing a book for that setting as well, because I think it would be, once again, I think it would be very distinct. I think it would be very, very cool. And I don't think there's anything in TTRPGs that I have seen, at least, that is quite like it. So I'm really, really, fingers crossed out there, everybody, that we get this one going too. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm excited. I can't wait. Well, this is the part where I say, let the people know where they can find City of the Black Rose.
All right. Well, you can find City of the Black Rose on the City of the Black Rose Kickstarter, as well as on the Roll and Play Press website. You can also, if you want to hear the actual play series or any of the actual play stuff that we've done for the setting, and you want to hear it in action, you can head over to Three Black Halflings. We have City of the Black Rose Season 1. There's Season 2, which is called City of the Black Rose Herald of Shadows. I believe we also did release Dice Danger Daggerheart on our main feed, but if you want to check it out on YouTube, you can head over to the Darrington Press YouTube channel and check out City of the Black Rose Dice Danger Daggerheart. There's an incredible cast. For that one, I think we had Candace the Magnificent, we had Connie Chung, we had Caldwell Tanner, and we had Luis Carrazzo for that mini-series. And for our main series, we've had incredible guests like Izza, aka Evil Clever Dog. We've had Terry Gamble. We had Jonathan Charles, composer of the show, or composer of the theme music, rather, was in it. We also had Brennan Lee Mulligan. We had Abubakar Salim. I've been saying Abubakar Salim, and I only recently heard him actually say his name, and it's apparently pronounced Abubakar Salim. So I'm trying to retrain myself to say his name correctly. But he's in it. C. Thomas from Transplaner is in it. M. Carlson from Blackwater D&D is in it. Mark Meir, aka Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, is in it. Christina Ariel. There's a ton of guests in Season 2. So go check out. There is a smorgasbord of actual play content to sink your teeth into while you formulate your own ideas for your own Mavros adventures.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I like I said, I can't wait to get the physical copy into my hand. I can't wait to get that the case. I can't wait to get the investigator bundle and just be like, ah!
Yeah.
Well, I will see you at Gen Con.
Yeah.
So I'll high five you and we'll shake the book together.
We won't open it. We'll just we'll both put our hands on it and shake it together while maintaining eye contact the whole time.
Just very awkward eye contact. I love it. If you're excited for the City of the Black Rose, whether it's in the D&D or Daggerheart version, go check out the links down below, whether it's the Kickstarter or Roll and Play Press's website. Go check out Three Black Halflings everywhere you get your podcast. Go check out the episode that they did for After the Table last year. I'm very excited about that. And then, outside of that, thank you all so much. And I'll see y'all on the internet. Goodbye.